here. I got this lug nut cap remover. It's a lot better than these here. They start breaking. You can see how I put a hose clamp on it so it doesn't crack. They're about $80 for the lug nut cap removers. You can see how nice they are. They're worth the money. But that's how that is. You can see how it's plastic inside so it doesn't hurt the Alcoa caps. It's for Alcoas. They're really nice to have. That's what I recommend when it comes to Alcoas and taking them off. But I'm going to replace the plugs on the front hubs. They seem to be streaking on me after I go over 100, maybe 200 miles, and I can see some streaking going on. So it's all about getting my tools out. And this here I use really nice. You can see this kind of ratchet. This here you can pull out and get some leverage. So that works out pretty neat. It's nice to have these extensions. And you want to make sure that you have something to sit on. If not, you get old and your knees will start hurting. So you get a foldable. And after I take the cap off, I'll go ahead and fill it with hub oil. I use Lucas. Seems to be the right deal. But these are actually streaking on me. I'm not really liking it. I wipe it down all the time. You can see the streaks. See, it's streaking. So you can see the streaks right here. It's coming out. So it's best just to take this off. Clean the whole inside. And replace them with new caps. The right way to go. But you can see how nice this socket is. It's worth the money. The other one is really hard. You have to use a screwdriver just to get. It's like a T-bar kind of thing. But this is really nice. It gets leverage. Doesn't hurt your caps, Alcoa caps. The ones that are really easy are the ones that are threaded on. But the kind of trucks I've had them where the threads are much longer. But the short ones, you get the ones that clamp onto the nuts. Get that done. But you can see how I just loosen them all, and then you slide them off the nut. You don't want to take them all the way off, but you can see how that just clamps onto the nuts instead of threading on. They actually last longer, but taking these off, you can see it's just easier to take them right on the end, but never take them all the way off. So you can just slip them right off, tap them on. I use a rubber mallet and tap them all the way to the end. I'm in Kansas City waiting for a load, so I might as well get this headache done. See why it's streaking on me. But I want to make sure I clean this whole area and replace this cap. Make sure that everything is good. Doesn't look messy in here, but you can see the streaks. So It's all about cleaning this area, this up. I wiped everything down, even the inside of the cap. And I took this off. This is all filled up. You can see the line itself that goes across. You get the max to the minimum. And synthetic lube only, that's why the Lucas is really nice to have. And so about putting a new one on. See, the old one doesn't have the center cap with the spring. That looks much different. That should hold, but these edges get really soft. They start coming out. But after 300,000, you should replace these. Or if one's leaking, I'm out to do both. The other one is a little bit, but not as much as this one. Looks like it goes in, but it's not so flat. It's different. This is a CR453807. This is a different one. Huh. Well, it is from the Volvo dealership. Hoping it might be better than. But yeah, it's not flat on the top. So that's what tricks your mind a little bit. I'll just keep this just in case these are the wrong ones, but these were ordered through the dealership. Looks sturdy. Alright, that looks good. And wiping all the streaks off, especially the bottom. But at the end I'll wipe everything down. But even the inside, I got all the edges all done. You want to make sure, because they'll collect on here and then it'll streak out. But the whole hub is clean now. Looks really nice. That's the way it should be. And then you just slowly put each one in. That's why you just loosen them all. Now just clamp right down. Sure they're all slid right on the nut. We don't want to have any spaces. Eventually you'll wiggle out and you'll be at truck stops hitting them all. That's the right way to go. See all my tools. This ratchet is really nice. Gives you metrics and English, so when you're on the road you can quickly grab what you need. And the Volvos, they seem to be metrics, and any other projects it seems to be English to metrics. This is the mallet I use. You want to use the rubber. That's all you have to do. Make sure they're all on there. And then tighten each one. But I bet you're sold on this socket now. And the ratchet extended ratchets. That's all about doing 10. It doesn't take that long when you do these ratchets. You just go all the way till it touches the rim. I've had these caps since 1995, so they've been with me for a while. It's always keeping it clean every week. It doesn't turn green. Taking care of your equipment. It's always a big investment at first, but they're more expensive now. When I bought these, it was $70 for a whole pair. Now it's probably like $150 to $300 probably. Nothing's cheap anymore. That looks good. That's the way it should be. Looking pretty. Gotta cover those nuts and the hub. There's so many different designs, but this is the one I really like, especially where you got an Alcoa rim. I'm also put Alcoa caps on it, so it's matching. It's not an aftermarket. That's really nice to do. Alright, it's all about cleaning up my mess. But someday I'll get new ones. They're a little scratched just from the road. But I'm going to do the other side and get that done. You see these long streaks that came out. Hoping I don't have that problem anymore, especially when you go across the scales and you're looking at these streaks and you're thinking there's something wrong. They'll red light you and look at it. But that's the tool. Really in love with it. You can see how it's plastic inside. But it's really sturdy. Durable, I guess I would say. I've limit on these caps. Start streaking out like that. Alright, I'll go to the other side and get that done. That's a good day to do this. Waiting for a load. Yeah, you can see the streaks on this one too. It's not doing good. Yeah, you can see these streaks I was talking about. All the way around. Very noticeable. But I'm glad it's just the plug. It's not the hub that's cracked or the gasket. Well, this is the trick, is to use this socket. I bought this in Iowa 80, Walcott, Iowa. And it was like $82, I think it was. But I've been using those black tubes for so long, and they keep cracking and breaking. Then you got to cut them and drill another hole and put a screwdriver through it. Use it like a T-bar. This is much quicker, it's safer. No matter how hard it is, it's really nice. They just don't want to use impact on this kind of socket. But the metal itself on the outside is actually really nice. It's like titanium kind of thing. And the inside is the plastic, but everything else on this socket is metal. And it's pretty sharp. You can see how really nice it is. It's worth the money. loosen them up a little bit more. But the other one, I started using hose clamps just to keep them from cracking and breaking. The screw-on thread ones are really nice and easy, but they just don't last. You have mechanics put them on too tight and then they'll strip and break, or they loosen up really quick versus the clamp-ons. These threads are much longer. I could use the acorns with the threaded Alcoas. And you see the streaks are really bad on this one. I think this side's worse than the driver's side. Well, we'll see what it looks like inside. See, I'll wipe all this inside stuff down. Get that all wiped down. Yeah, I get indication that it's this plug. You can see how it's coming out. It's wet. Yeah, this plug needs to be replaced. Yeah, I hope it's not too low. But I'll clean all this up. Just fill it up. The inside here is dry, but it seems to be coming out of right where the cap is. You don't want it to come out of this cap. Sometimes these things crack on you. Somebody tightens them too hard. The hub gets too hot and old. Alright, everything's clean, filled up, new plug. Cap inside's all clean now. You want to make sure you get the corners. That's why I brought a screwdriver. I put a rag on the screwdriver tip and I got all the edges. That way you start all over. If anything continues to happen, you can see where you can investigate a lot easier than just guessing it was just that. You're gonna do it right. That way you don't have to do it again. Plus, when the mechanic at the shops, when they come and take this off to replace tires or something, you can see that you take care of the equipment. The mechanics really put their heart in it when they have a nice clean truck. But the rubber mallets, a lot easier when it comes to any plastics caps that you put on your truck. But this is all about sliding and making sure it all gets covered over the lug nut itself. And you screw it all the way till it touches. You want to make sure it's slid all the way over to on the lug nut. You don't want to be half hanging off. Might feel like it's tight, but once you hit it with the rubber mallet, you'll notice when it hits bottom. But it's much easier with this tool. It's so worth the money. I have it on my side box. Mechanics know, I tell them, so they're aware. Once they're used to it, then they'll never use the other stuff. It's like a defrost just went on some truck. Or air conditioner. Well, I used to dread it, and then once I got the socket, I don't. That's the sprinkler system. It's just turned on. Project, but at least you know how to Use the Alcoa socket tool and replacing this inspection cap. But I'll go ahead and get a new towel and wipe the rim down, get all these streaks off. See how it goes all the way to the end. Really noticeable when you drive over a scale. And don't forget your folding little stool. You can stand on it or sit on it.